A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary, and you are live on my YouTube channel, arunfoot. It is April the 2nd, 2025, and some of you, or all of you, will have witnessed the first leg of the first semi-final of this season's Indian Super League, and it had Bengaluru FC winning at home 2-0 against FC Goa in what can be said a deserving win for the Blues. And let's talk about things on this match. We'll talk a little bit about what's maybe the latest in regard to the I-League, what's all happening over there. AIFF is once again its topic. So lots to talk about in Indian football as always. And I think I'll quote myself, and I'll quote myself properly from a tweet that I put out yesterday, and I stick to that, what I said yesterday. And I'd written, and I quote, "Today is April 1st, but seeing the situation in Indian football, to me, it isn't April Fool's Day today, but every day is Fool's Day for football in India." Yeah, a little harsh, I thought, but sometimes it is. Some say, let's wait and see. Sterling72 says, good evening from myself side as well. Disappointed as an FC Goa fan, but confident we can turn it around at home. What changes would you like to see at home? I think Drazic and Sadiko need to play. Sterling72, is it Drazic and is it Sadiko? Are those the two changes that you think you want? I would rather to do something a little differently, and would have said, you know what, I would have liked the coach to decide and say, you know what, let me put Sadiko and Guruchena on the field. I think that is a combo. Put maybe Mohammad Yasir, put Udanta on the wings. This is what I would like to see, because I think Guruchena and Sadiko are as so therefore that's the combo. But again, someone else might tell me, you know what, it's something that they would like to see. So for me, that's that. But if you ask me, what could be a good combo, what should be a good combo, then I would say personally, I would like that rather than the others. Good evening, Kiran Ray, welcome back. So any news about new constitution decision? Bank, no update. I think if I'm right, it's been pushed again by a couple of weeks. I think there's a lot of lack of clarity amongst the judges. Justices. I don't know. And therefore we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay, you're watching 420 grams. Good for you, Lucky Ali. Why do you feel Sadiq has been left out recently? His lack of link-up play. Sterling72, I think, as you say, link-up play is, I think, a very, very good reason. I think on that front, I think from that perspective, I would say Guruchena is the better player. Guruchena is also more of a team player, drops back, combines, plays, and I think that makes him such a valuable player. Is of course a different player, and to me, that would be the logic. Guru Singh is being monitored by a Danish club. Your thoughts on this? Nishu, I've checked. Nothing that I've heard about that he's been monitored. Forget by Danish club, by any European club at the moment. So at the moment, as far as I know, and as I understand, let's wait and see. But at the moment, nothing that I know of. If Churchill brothers draw at Real Kashmir Sea, do they celebrate considering appeal? Sterling72, let's see. I think the AIFF will try and sort this out before the match or the matches on Sunday. I think that should be their role. That should be their job, that they find a solution by Thursday, Friday, that we have a clarity of going into that last match day, because otherwise you cannot hand over the Champions Trophy to anybody, right? So therefore, that would be, if I was involved in the AIFF, that would be clearly a position saying, listen, you cannot hand over a trophy to XYZ without knowing what's the final outcome of the league. Therefore, the judgment, the decision-making should be happening the 4-0 final match day. Good evening, Punjab. How was today's ISL semi-final? Decent match. Even though one could see the difference, BFC had the advantage that they played Mumbai City FC on Saturday, and on the other side, FC Goa haven't had a competitive match since 8th of March. I think they looked a little rusty, and therefore for me, FC Goa tried, but FC Goa, couldn't get anything out of this. So therefore for me, it looked like that they weren't really in this game. Sometimes I felt, I don't know, that it wasn't of the quality that I would like to have seen, but and then therefore I guess BFC were and are deserving winners in this tie. Hi Blue, didn't see the full match, but in first 30 minutes FC Goa better. What happened after that? Can you sum it up? FC Goa looked better, had more of the ball, yes. But when you don't score, when you don't create chances, you're not going to win. I mean, even if you look at the stats for Mumbai City against BFC the other day, some of the stats actually speak for Mumbai City FC. So therefore, for me, that's the thing. And ball possession without penetration in the final third and creation of chances, then you're not going to be able to win. And BFC were clinical today. Mistaken the defensive unit to allow the first goal from Ryan Williams, and Edgar Mendes with a brilliant strike for the second goal. That was clearly the difference between these two teams. Any news on FC Goa's new coach? Sterling 72, nothing. So far, I've heard nothing. I know that they were in the market for a new coach, but I've not heard any confirmation about any new coaches, any new coach, Let's see. Bryson looked like a shadow of himself. Sterling 72, not good enough. Not good enough, not at his best. And therefore, I think that injury that he had a few weeks ago did take his toll on the player. And therefore, he played the way he did today, which, again, I said, wasn't good enough. Was disappointing to say the least. But, to me, therefore, very tough, but that's the reality of things as it is at the moment between the players. आर पर says AIFF इंडिया में फुटबॉल ग्रास कोर्ट्स पे डेवलप नहीं कर सकते, इससे अच्छा तो 25 U10 बॉयज इंग्लैंड एंड 25 बॉयज स्पेन भेज के U17 तक ट्रेन करवा दे अच्छा अकेडमी में, एंड उनका स्टडी एंड रहना अगर स्पॉन्सर करे. Not possible. Very simply because at that age, you can't place boys into an European system. First problem. Second problem, 25 boys into one academy. No one will do that anyway, right? Then you have to either own a club. So therefore, I don't know, but to me, it does make sense. Janki was fit to play ISL, but was injured for national team. So now it does change in a few days. Now, I don't know what this fuss is about. And then you mentioned about Brandon as well. Brandon got injured in a match, right? And that match was on the 19th, and the ISL semi-finals were on the 29th. So therefore, 10 days can be. But again, both of them did not look to me fully fit. I think if it was a normal ISL league game, I think both of them would have not played, to be very, very honest, right? So therefore, non-starter for me of a discussion that has been had by the fans. Can't AIFF have an Indian Arrows in the ISL? No, Sandeep, I don't think so. I think for the Indian Arrows, the best step would be to get the Arrows back into the I-League. I think that the second tier of Indian football is good enough for an Indian Arrows team, which is made up mainly of boys in the 18, 19 years of age group. So for me, I-League make more sense of ISL. And secondly, ISL is a cost that the AIFF cannot bear. And that's another thing that we need to always remember. This season, the Indian Arrows are not playing in the system because the AIFF was not in a position to generate the revenues, generate the funds which are needed to play the Indian Arrows in the I-League. Manolo, tough time continues. Yeah, Blue. I also thought today, like against Bangladesh, that tactically, with the personnel, he could have done something different. I don't know. I mean, he's been always spot on, right? Uh, and in the last two games, I felt he was a little off. So therefore, I don't know. That's my feeling. What do you think are FC Goa's chance at home? Sterling 7-2 at home. 2-0 is, in my opinion, always a very dangerous result. And uh, one goal, one early goal, even one goal, I don't know, after 70 minutes, 80 minutes, you have enough time to score a second. So 2-0 is always a result where I feel, it could be good, it could be bad, it could be very, very good, it could be very, very bad. To me, it is something that for FC Goa keeps them in the tie. And let's see. Why always Manolo gives statements like it was too much? Is that the case? I feel the approach, the language is different. What's your opinion on Kuru to Bromby? If it's true, as there was really big interest from Bromby? Showcast, as far as I know, it's a fake story. As far if I'm rightly informed, there is no Bromby EF offer anywhere, right? And knowing Bromby a little bit, knowing a little bit of Danish football, a step way too big for him. Good evening, Ochu. These days, a number of people are talking against AIFF publicly by Chokes too much. Jadid Pasu. Again, all three gentlemen have different reasons of doing that. They have their own grievances, their own issues. But my counter question to the people who are giving these people a platform to speak, why aren't you asking these people critical questions about what their role was in certain things over the last 2-3 years or last 4, 5, 6 years? That would be my thing. All three, Bachchan can be asked what happened around the elections, too much, what was he doing, right? And Jadid Pasu, what was he doing in his role? What was he doing before that? This is the question that these people should be asked, but nobody will ask them. People are giving them a platform to blabber. It's shameless, it's scandalous, and you guys, if you go on their channels, call it out to these people and say why you're giving platform to such people, such characters who, in their own rights, have done harm to Indian football in different forms and ways. I think FC Goa letting Manolo take both the jobs was like doing charity for Indian football. Can't think of many clubs who would allow this. Sterling 72, I think there are multiple clubs who would have allowed this in this situation if to me, I think it made sense, because otherwise I think they would have lost Manolo. What's your opinion on the rumors that ISL is following MS Futsal to move promotion? Showcase, we are like the MLS. We don't have promotion. So, Showcase, your question should be rather different. Do we have an ISL next season? Ask that question. That's the thing that I was talking to a lot of people about and nobody seems to know. And suddenly Indian Arrows girls team playing in IWL 2 and won their first match. By the way, no one knows when IWL started. Oh, shit. It started in the last few days. It was very clearly evident. I remember a few of those second division teams in the IWL speaking about it. So at least I knew about it. It is better for ISL to get disbanded. Only then Indian footballers will be forced to go abroad as they won't get absorbed in salaries. Zoravar, the salaries that they would get abroad, they will not even play. The salaries that they will still want, again, who will take them if we're talking about quality? I don't know. I felt the team selection midfield was not right. I thought Rowland would be better than Tavora. Yeah. Blue, you have a point over there. Sahil not at his best today, let's put it this way. That's the point here at the end of the day. How do you play? Yeah. So therefore for me, I don't know. It's an interesting one if he got it right or if he didn't get it right. But didn't make too many changes also, right? Drazic, Ayush Chetri, and then Armando Sadiku. Yeah, very unlike Manolo. Asked news from Bangladesh that they're to get the two Sullivan brothers, but only the two youngest are willing for Bangladesh, but the other two elder brothers are still waiting for US national team call up. Punjab, let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see where we stand. Criticize him or not, under Igor, India were defensively organized against strong teams. Really? Did I miss something? Good night, Sterling. Right, all the best for your exam, as such. This season, what I love about Bees is that they give fair enough chance to young Indian players, including Shiva, Danu, Bhutia. Also, I guess it's a bit different when it comes to young Indian players. Is it? How much time did Rohit Danu get? And how much time did Shiva Shakti get? He started today, but he wasn't starting material today, was he? Hi, Kumar. Manolo Marquez done tactical mistake by only using lopsided play with Udanta Singh voicing. Because of that, Akash Sangwar is redundant attacking fullback, making back three even have two defense midfielders. K. Kumar. Jadab was the media head of AIFF and showed all highlights of I-League 2. IWS and were uploaded in F channel within 2 hours of the match. It used to be 50 hours. Good. If that's the priority of the head of the AIFF media, then congratulations, Nadeem. Don't worry, guys. ISL not going to disappear at any cost. AIFF don't have enough guts and things to conduct a top-tier league. Looking at it from the wrong side, Kiran Rare. It's not the question of the AIFF, it's a question of if Reliance wants to continue or not. Bhutia Sivya are all above 24. They're not considered young. Young is those who can be classified U20. It's in Indian football, everything goes. You will, so therefore, it's always a question of how you see things. Irfan Yadwar, who turns 24 in a few weeks, seen as an emerging player. So, yeah, it's a question. I mean, it seems quite clear if it's still quite concerned of the losses from ISL, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they scrap ISL. Yeah, could be. Crystal Dawn says 79 lakh views on Geo Hotstar. Okay, not bad. Do you think Manolo's teams focus on wings which don't suit Indian football, and once of that route, he doesn't really have other plans? Also, his team always has a good number 9 with good uplink play. Zorti 3x to me, I think the point is here how it's not about one system that you like to play, that you want to play. I think the question here is what kind of system works for us, right? Works for the team, works for the squad. And that's the challenge I think that Manolo now finds himself in, because to me, he's in a situation of finding the right formation for an Indian national team. And as you say, good number 9. India doesn't have a good number 9 per se, in the sense on one side. On the other side, Sunil is the player. That's something which I think, even if they play in the very lowest divisions, it's better than playing in Europe. So they will not be allowed to play in the lowest divisions, right? You have to have, these players would have to have pro contracts. So that mainly means the top 2, top 3 in England would be top 4 divisions. So therefore, and none of the clubs in those leagues would take an Indian player, national team player, forget it. Yeah. Igor was just lucky in many games, and a set team also destroyed it. So I don't get what he did to get any respect that suddenly many fans are giving him. Shouldn't take him seriously. Blue, this is the problem, no? This is the problem that we're playing around, that ex-coaches of ours, whatever they've done, positive or negative, other people who have done their bit, positive and negative, um, you know, so this is something. India played Qatar 4 times and only conceded 6 goals, and was team much we played Qatar again 4 times, how many would we concede? Nadeem, it doesn't work that way. The first match against Qatar in 2019, I was there in Doha. I actually had a long evening with Eagles team match that day, right? That was a Stephen Constantine team still, right? And therefore, yeah, that it's if you want to construct it as being successful, please do. But in the end, what did he say and what did he achieve? What did he say? I will play possession football. Hey, I will qualify India for the third round of the World Cup qualifiers. Failure after failure after failure. Fake hopes with the SAF Cup. I said in 2023 that those 2 matches against Lebanon and Kuwait, where we supposedly didn't lose, right? Because we won on penalty shoots out. Yeah. Great football, right? Brilliant. Some court decisions came today. Your thoughts? Pranjal, sorry. It is adding to the chaos, to people are celebrating it. You know, and yeah, it's a big problem. It's just, I don't know where the courts are taking us with this. Someone needs to at some stage go out. Some lawyer, please, someone send a lawyer who's intelligent enough to explain to the courts it is not in your jurisdiction what you're looking at. Either we have a sports court system or it is not handled by these courts. If someone doesn't at some stage go to them, explain to that, we will be going to continue to kill Indian football. These people are all killing Indian football for self-interest, right? What's your prediction for I-League final? Roshan, the I-League is the most unpredictable league in this world. First of all, let's see if the AIFF this week decides on the Interkashi matter. That's the first thing. Let's see if they do that, if they can sort that out, because that's going to be the first question that needs to be asked of if the AIFF can sort it, because otherwise a lot of other questions will be asked. And then we'll see. I would not be willing to predict who's going to get to be I-League champions. I feel like Jamshedpur FC going to do wonders against Mohun Super Giant. Let's see, gear on rare. I got news that Umid got Indian citizenship. We will play for India from next window. Satyam, if that's the case, great. But I think you are on your own with this information because, yeah, let's see. We held Australia till 50th minute in Asia Cup, lost to Syria with a late call and weren't attention to the end of us defending. Nadeem, we were in contention because the others were not able to score or not willing to push against us. If Uzbekistan pushed against us in that tournament, they would have scored 6, 7, 8 goals most probably against us. What you construct as being positive is actually negative. We went in with a negative mindset. Compared to that 2019, we played football. Stephen Constantine played football, you know? I think Manolo simply didn't have a plan B today. Why didn't he use subs earlier when it was clear nothing was working? Yeah, I agree with you. And risk something maybe, but again, solid game from Sana and Beke. Very good game from both the Indian centre backs. With such low quality players, these are overachievements. Nadeem, these are not overachievements because Stephen Constantine was doing overachievements. Bob Houghton was doing overachievements, right? 2 matches, great, 2 clean sheets. Wow. You know, sorry, but this is not the level that we're talking about. Even with this team, he has destroyed the national team systematically over the last few years. Come on, let's be honest about it. The national coach has destroyed something. He was given a working, a successful team by Stephen, right? In the first year in 2019, the successes we had were those of Stephen. And afterwards, I don't know where we went. I think Indian football fans still celebrate those lovely wins in 2023, where I always said, listen, don't be blinded. He even said, oh, we played brilliant football in 2022 in the AFC Asian Cup 2023 qualifiers. I watched the Hong Kong match, and I think Renedy's comment is still online on the AIFF website, where he said, listen, we won 4-0, but we were very, very lucky. So therefore, either live in reality and call it out, and otherwise leave it. Kalyan talked with Premier League Chairman Peter McKenzie and British. Okay. Hi, SCT. BC seems solid in Sri Lanka. Yeah, they look more hungry at the moment. I felt against Mumbai City, and also today they looked hungry. One of the read article from me sometimes that they mentioned Supreme Court asked to follow National Sports Code and FIFA regulation for the AIFF Constitution. That's new. They're not following the FIFA regulations and actually the FIFA constitution, because the sports code is already in violation of the rules and regulations of FIFA. It is in violation of the IOC. So therefore, how can you then follow it? After the Bangladesh match, one thing is certain: there is no future for football in India. It's better for India for it to be scrapped completely. The government of India allows diaspora players maybe in 50 years. Let's see what's happened. Indians playing in foreign leagues, easier said than done. Even if they are selected any division, you will have to be mentally very strong to adapt to a different culture. Forget about playing. Very, very true truth. And again, the standard is going to be different. Kalyan meeting with Premier Chairman begins in British Commissioner and the tenure to get Indian young talent, the Premier League youth academy, get Indian asked to other than that. That's not going to happen. Satyam, we are not going to get into academies because that's not allowed. Right? So therefore, if people are spreading these, please, my humble request to all of you, be careful with whatever news you hear, you see. Don't jump up with everything. Again, all of these things, how many times have these kind of meetings have taken place and how many times has anything happened? Sadly to say, never ever. Let's hope we don't get another FIFA ban. Ishan, that's my big concern. That is my big concern. So we get a FIFA ban for that. Of course we can. Pranjal, it's not in the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to talk about the AIFF and its constitution. This is something which has the Supreme Court, so that's the thing. Omit's news is April Fool's news, says Ishan. It's just for me that match fixing allegation happened due to league title race. Roshan, if someone wants to be critical of the I-League and the results and the matches, I think there are a lot of reasons to talk about it, because there are a lot of matches which have had, matches go this way, that way, results go this way, that way. It can be discussed. Has it ever been proven? That's the other side. But there are too many players in there where you could think things could go, so that's the thing. How is Super Cup going to be relevant with this pathetic organization, and should we not think about having a playoff match between winners of ISL Trophy and Super Cup for Asian sport? Methamphetamine, I've explained this on this live broadcast. I don't know how many times. Maybe you've not been there. The first spot in a country always goes to the champions of the league. The second spot, normally, if you have one, goes to the cup winners. So, and the Super Cup winner in that fact, the ISL Trophy is an add-on. If you have a third spot, you can play it with that, or actually let the second team finishing in the league get the spot. So therefore, not happening. Not the relegation battle. Yeah, these I-Leagues were literally a joke. Max fixed so many reverse decision by AIFF. So rather, it is crazy. Insane. What happened to Sheridan Fernandez? Seems like the coach is not trusting him. Boris Singh seems to be the number one right back. And even Udanta has played in that position right ahead of him. Sir, I don't speak false news. I'm dying heart Indian football fan. How can I share fake news about my nation football? I also know that you can only save easily by getting into Indian team. Satyam, he can think about that, but he's not getting a passport anytime soon. I'm not doubting you that you are, but again, you have to be very, very careful with what news, where you pick it up, how you pick it up, because that is always, that there are a lot of things which you have to keep in mind when these kind of informations are shared. Shaji, yeah, that was clear that his contract was renewed. That was an issue. SCT says deserving hero of the match, Namar Bhutia. Yeah, very good. Set up that second goal. Very, very good course. So away win was scored is not to be said. Of course, Nadeem, it's celebrated, but you are trying to justify a coach who in Indian colours has failed. And I will not accept that. I've said that, So therefore, for me, that's the reality. But hey, celebrate the coach. Please go ahead. He screwed the system, so please celebrate him. People keep blaming national team managers, but the reality is Indian footballers who play in the national team don't deserve to play football. Even Pep Guardiola can't save them. And so, Rava, that is where I disagree. That is where the quality of a national team coach comes in. If your team is not the best, but you get maybe 5-10% extra out of them, right? That is what I remember. That's what Bob Houghton used to say, what he used to do. Even Stephen got that out. Do you think that we were better against Thailand in 2019? That's why we won? No, normally in a normal match, how many times are we going to win 4-1 against Thailand? But that day we were, and we had the motion on our side. Now, my bigger problem with Steamach is that he doesn't have the guts to admit his failure. Exactly, Roshan. Admit his failure and be honest enough, right? So therefore, that's the thing. People who are now celebrating him, seriously, find yourself another sport, because this is, in my opinion, so therefore that's not something. Share class from Nogueira and Capo, by the way, especially Nogueira. Yeah. Don't you think AIFF should not go for cut money coaches, please invest long term in what could be the best coaching staff at all levels of national teams? They don't have the money. Nice idea, Metavani, but at the moment, you have to look at what you can get. 4-0 versus Hong Kong, we were lucky. Now let's see, we can be lucky again in this qualifiers, otherwise Asian team's over. Nadeem, if you want to understand it, you will understand it. But if you want to defend things which were bad, and which, again, the person who's led us into the situation, please defend them. Hopefully, we do get banned for a month or so. It will be good for our mental health. If we're going to get banned this time, most probably it will be longer. Even bigger problem is there are clowns who are giving footage to a cheat like him, says Rushabh. Yeah, that's the problem. Said, I think our youngsters can be very effective if we train them grassroots like Kuru. 70 kids we trained and played for Manipur Football Federation from age 8 to into India. Let's hope so. As per now, AIFF can do illegal things and no one should challenge these things, and illegal things should be get unnoticed. See, Nadeem, and this is the problem with people like you, because you want to understand the way you want to understand. Because what I'm not saying is that it should get uncontrolled. There are means and ways to control it, but it's not in the purview of these government agencies, of the courts, because that is a problem in regard to the independence of sporting bodies. Now, we don't want to talk about it, but that's the way it is. And that's why I've said, and I've said this multiple times, that we need independent sports courts to look into this, And to me, very, very clearly, a lot of people don't want to understand that. If the AIFF is doing wrong, expose it, expose the individuals, and then take action. What is happening over here is those who have done illegal things seem to expose other people, but they didn't do anything wrong. That's the way we're moving forward. Wow, brilliant. It's also ironical that FIFA doesn't tolerate government interference in their members, but must get help from governments to host tournaments. No, it's not. See, Ochut, the point is here, the strength of sports around the world. In an ideal case scenario, and it's not ideal, let's be very, very clear, is that the governance of sporting bodies as independent bodies should be the same, let's say, in the United States, here in Europe, in India, in North Korea, in Africa, wherever. That's one of the strengths of sporting associations, national federations, whatever you want to call it. Now, that is not perfect, 100% given, but it's still the better system than governments overlooking it, because governments overlooking a sporting federation means that government is controlling a sporting federation, right? And that is what the sports code in India de facto wants to do. And it wants to give power to ex-players, where I say, nice idea, but I think the current situation shows you, I think it's rather more important to have sports professionals running sporting bodies than ex-players. If an ex-player's got it, not the only experience on the field, but he's got it practical experience of running sports, of organizing sports, then you can take it forward. What's the point who wins the league when we don't even know if ISL is going to happen next year or not? Good question. What's up? The audit report of AIFF for last financial year is not uploaded even after 1 year. Nadeem, there are multiple problems, but ask the people who are supposedly asking those questions what their involvement in all of this is. Ask those people. In recent interviews, Stephen Constantine said that AIFF have more influence, power, and selection process national squad than coach when he was coach of India. See, let him. Just let the statement stay. I understand that cup winners get a second spot, but the problem is this tournament is a farce and not a proper cup tournament. We need the best teams to represent us in Asia. That is our problem. That's not a problem of the, it's the same rule around the world, right? And this tournament is a farce, but for the first time, most probably in many years, it will be actually a cup tournament. What we've been playing as Federation Cup and Super Cup is actually a combination of a league or a round robin come knockout tournament, right? I think we should be talking about that. That's another problem we've had. I find Indian team would be better under Khalid Jamil than Igor Stimac, KS City. A player like Tekcham or Sanan can be considered young, and we have to understand that at 24, 25, a player should be at his prime. I don't know Angry Birds if he'll be at his prime, but he should be at a certain developed stage, I would say. That should be something that a player should be at that age, and that's something where our players at the moment are not. I think that's the big question, big difficulty with the players. Syria, Australia, and Uzbekistan are much tougher than Thailand, UAE, and Bahrain. In trio, yes, but I would have said in 2019, UAE and Bahrain would surely be much tougher than Syria. And look at the way we played the first half an hour against the UAE. Then I think you can talk. In my opinion, in football, there are games where a certain team can give you trouble with a particular style, like counter-attacking at times. This team show a glimpse of that. That's what we can do at best. Yeah. I don't know that you were asking consistency from the Indian players, which is not going to happen because they don't even play 20 or more matches consistently for 3 years before the ISL level. Yeah. Stimac only like money. He only came here, sold nationalism, got crore of money, and left. Hard. Satyam. By the way, I came to know Kuru is a Sudeva U18 product. Okay, Tinbirds. What is the news about Anil Kumar appointment state? Blue, it means that the Delhi High Court feels that he could not have been appointed as the secretary of the AIFF on one side, but again, I think the AIFF, yeah, and sorry, so therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Again, we have got so many chapters in all of these multiple cases that are happening left, right, and center that we'll see. Have to wait and see what decisions come. And now the Classic FA and Tempo are really working on their grassroots. Let's see. Classic FA, I know. I've been doing it. Tempo has built infrastructure now, back in the I-League as well with their senior team. Let's see what they're able to do. What is independent sport code? How does it work? Paranjal, all matters pertaining to sports do not go into the general public domain of courts. All the matters pertaining to sports would then go into this sports jurisdiction, and they would then, according to the laws of sports, which normally stand above the law of the land, there would be decision taking according to that, which in India doesn't happen at the moment, which again is a violation of international sports laws, which down the road actually theoretically could mean that the IOC could ban the IOA, and theoretically every national sports federation could be banned by their global body. Do you think today world's saying wrong or pinpointing something wrong is big crime compared to lack of accountability? Seems to be. There's no accountability in today's world. That's the problem. So let's see. Shaju is sitting somewhere in Tihajir, but now why is not is a mystery. It says Turbo. Kumar says Igor Stimac wants to be relevant for Indian football, giving interview, and he's doing everything to make his PR stunt. Yeah, that's the problem. If Igor Stimac was such a great coach as so many people think he was, wouldn't he be coaching another club or country by now. What Manolo mindset is it reflecting in today's match? Also, I want to give only 15, 20 minutes like Irfan in national team. Aman, you could say it from that side, but what was the impact of the player? Sorry, what was the impact of the player in the game? I think that would be, he has a game plan. Is he right or wrong? Could be always asked. I think we had that winning mentality during constant time, even despite being technically inferior team. The winning against Thailand had caught enough attention in the Japanese football channels. Yes, Prithviraj. Any instance you felt influence social media person, celebrity, and believe those people? Do you think people make ignorance people as stars? Oh, that's every day. It's a problem. I think that the most important people should be following. They're not doing that, and there are a lot of people who do good work in Indian football, generally in Indian sports, and I think most of you don't even know these people. Sir, who gets the playoff spot for ACL 2? The winner of the Super Cup. Sport Code gives a pathway for sports to be in administration where mostly politicians are involved. Now in future, this will encourage sport person to pursue sports management degrees. Nadeem, the idea is nice. But I think at the moment, the example of Kalyan Chaube shows to you and PT Usha, it doesn't work that way. Rather than having sports persons, rather than having politicians or businessmen in there, you need professionals. And meaning you have played a sport doesn't mean you understand the running, the governance, the organization, the structure of sports. Yeah, I'll be arrogant enough to say when it comes to Indian football, no Indian football player would know the structure and running of the game like X number of administrators, people who work in Indian football that I know. But those people would have never been good footballers. So that's the problem. The sports code is a nice idea, but the sports code and these players will then be influenced by political assets and will use that political assets. So the idea is nice, but in Indian context will not work. Our players hit their prime after retirement, sadly, says Angry Birds. Do you think Sana Singh will be a proper option for Mohun if he keeps today's form in playoffs? Yeah. I mean, Sana is one, Mehtab Singh has been one because in the last two games, weirdly, Sandesh Jingan has not been playing well. They can be in club administration, associations, etc., government advisories. Nadeem, we need experts, people who understand sports, right? But that does not mean that people have to be ex-players. I know the best administrators I know have never played a sport at a higher level around the world. Very rarely do you have that. In your stay in India recently, you attend in youth matches like U13, U15, and 17? No chance, because in the morning and daytime I had meetings. Didn't actually even go and watch a football game actually live. Back in 2019, it was all between Steamart versus Roka. All he did in that interview was say some Indian player's name, claim he was watch his games. It's a joke. They didn't consider his record. Rishabh, there are other reasons behind it. This is the one which is in public domain. So let's not even get into that. How many paid subscribers are left until you start a WhatsApp group? Quite a few, Roshan. Thanks for you to become a member. Even if I don't reach that number, I guess soon, if you want to take up subscription, more than welcome to you guys do it. But I think I'll soon start off a group in the next month, I would say. Within this month or early next month, I'll start that. Sir, is the population the reason why we can't develop homegrown players? I don't think so. That should be an advantage. It should not be a disadvantage. I think that's my point, which I don't like. Sorry, that's a point which I don't like, because I think the population for us should be rather an advantage than a disadvantage. And that's something which I see very often, that it's used as something against India, against the development of Indian football. But I think it's something that we should rather see as a positive rather than negative, that we have access. Yeah. So let's see. Hi Vikram, I'm good. For me, Manoj is a good coach, very good, but needs constant like coach to get players in line and drain their attitude. Could be, but I don't know what is the right or the wrong. Let's see. As far as I remember, the likes of Sham Thapa were involved in Steven's appointment. Nowadays, even football guys can make blunders. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. Egon and Bajaj are friends. They regularly appear on Check the Football YouTube channel. So Sagar Zoravar, okay. Now that Sadiq was really good at hitting sixes today. And anyways, that's why, is he? Yeah, let's see. Why is he still trying to be relevant here in India? Which job is an ex-coach after? Pranjal, I don't know. I honestly don't know. In last podcast a few years back, without desperate players, India can never progress in football. See, Zoravar, that's a point that, again, I have been making, not these guys, for the last 24 years. Right? Steven said it when he was there first. We tried a few things. We tried a few things under Bob. Been tried under, when Steven came back, under Igor. Igor said it. But then, you know what? As a coach, you have to live with what you get. Sadly. For us who are around, we try, yeah, that's the reality. So how far to be a footmaster? Rushabh, for whom? Footmaster for whom? Who do you mean? Today, FC Go with no mentality or plan. Reality is it is a number 2 in points table, but no any eagerness and hunger. All players who's playing at national team from Goa, including Sandesh. Man, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't generalize in that. I felt they were a little off today. The break was too long. So therefore, I don't know if mentality was a problem, could be discussed, but I thought there wasn't a plan B to play a little differently and be a little bit more direct. Maybe Igor is playing mind games that he still cares about India and wants manager job from ISL club. Could be. Who knows? Dada, whenever we'll meet, I'm gonna bombard you with questions which you did answer in live streams. Okay? I will keep that in mind. Evening, Wezian. What are the chances of race against Mumbai? Mohun Bagan. Super Giant, not FC. Any surprise? I think, as the match showed today, it is an advantage for the team which has come through the playoffs because they have a match after a long break. That's an advantage. Jamshedpur at home is always tricky. So therefore, why not tomorrow? Why was Stimac allowed to be in Croatia all the time and not watch our league? Indian national team job should be a full-time job overseeing development activities. Nadeem, that's a question for the coach and for the AIFF or for the AIFF over these years. This I'm Vijayan guy look good versus Brazil. You think he should be given a chance? Pranjal Vijubhai is a legend. I will always call him a legend. The best Indian footballer that I've seen technically with my own eyes. I've never seen an Indian footballer who was as good or better than I am Vijayan, to be very, very honest. So therefore, to me, Vijubhai is a legend, was a legend, is a legend, will be a legend. To be honest, national team's home games should be played in Bangalore. We have always been good there and fans also play their role. Ruturaj, I think it needs to travel around the country, and I think I feel it's a positive that's been taken around the country over the years. Yeah, so let's see. When Bajaj said Steamach wanted travel for us, I lost it and stopped taking him seriously. Let's just skip those channels. We give footage to guys like this. They'll stop one day, hopefully. Yeah, Rishabh, very well said. let's focus on the things that we can do for betterment of Indian football, not talk about it as if we're doing something good for football. So therefore, let's do it. First, Manoj should not have to play FC Goa card in national team. Apart from Sandesh Chingan, no anyone deserve. In fact, there is more good players in like Jamshedpur, Punjab, etc. like Imran Khan, Udan, than Udan. I don't agree on that. Imran Khan and Udan, again, I said before the that Udanta is at the moment in a way, and Udanta was one of the best FC Goa players today. So these comparisons, I mean, for me, make no sense. And Jamshedpur FC and Punjab FC don't have any players that you would automatically pick ahead of these FC Goa players. There are even 2-3 players more who you potentially could pick from FC Goa. If you look at, for example, Ritik Tiwari today, there seems to be a really good goalkeeper coming up. What do you think about AIFF introduce new language after ISL close? AIFF can sustain this language and club can spend less. New league, not language. I think you mean new league. Again, to me, it's a wild plan from the AIFF with what they've done, and I don't know. It makes no sense. Has Mumbai City FC played their last match in ISL against BFC? No. Hi, well, first of all, I honestly don't know. Because the problem is, it's not just about Mumbai City. I think the question is, will we have an ISL next season? And that concern is there. For any person, a common man, how can she be a football mystery? Acha, start working in a club, in an organization, study sports management, and do internships, and start it that way. Now I'm sure there are foreign-born Indians like you, Pradyum Reddy, or Rohan Sharma who could be approached without changing any role. Yeah, but they won't do that, no? Why does ISL T20 or Reserve don't play I-League 2 at max and relegation? Because they have the RFDL, which they play. Dada, if you watch Steven podcast, are you agreeing with his points? Shumo, no, I haven't had the time. I was traveling, I was on work. I haven't watched any of these so-called extended podcasts which have been going around in the last few days. We can see in German Division 3 to Stuttgart 2 and all that. We have a different system. Don't compare our system with the Indian system. Don't compare our system with the English system, for example, has a reserve league. The Spanish have their teams in their system, so therefore don't make these comparisons. Churchill Brothers look the best team this season, should have won the league, but now winning Kashmir looks difficult. I felt this season there have been multiple teams who look good at some stages of the league, and then then someone else looked better. It's been a very mixed season, I would say, in the I-League for me. So if you ask me, how are national team players paid? Like in FIFA windows, only who are in the squad are paid. Rushabh, national team players around the world are not paid. They are paid by the clubs. International football is certain countries pay a daily allowance, certain countries don't. So therefore, yeah. Bangladesh football fans are trolling us 24/7. How long will people keep facing the humiliation? So Rafa, why do you react? Let other people say what they want. Didn't the Bangladesh fans that they're going to beat us in Sri Lanka? Didn't happen. They were better, but they didn't beat us, right? So Bajaj is a smooth talker, one of many involved in Indian football. Yeah, too, we're part of the problem. It's part of banter. Had we won, Indian fans would do the same. Don't take it too seriously. Yeah, very well said, Rushabh. What's wrong with the judge? He keeps on giving you dates. Rutraj, yeah, it's not easy to give a judgment on this because as you realize and see, the judge has to decide on something which is very, very complex. It's not something that the judge can say, oh, you know what, I know what's going to do. And yeah, it doesn't make it easy, I think, right? So therefore, that's a challenge in itself. Right, already more than 55 minutes. If you like what you're seeing, do like and share this video. So far, only 9 likes. I think we can do better, guys. And if you're new, but you like what you're seeing, as I say, and you would like to subscribe, do subscribe. We're at 2,476 at the moment, so slowly closing in on the 2,500 mark. And thanks for all of you for following, for supporting, and for subscribing. Bryson was absent today, na? Udanta was at least trying. Yeah. Ishan, I said it early on. I felt Udanta was the best of the lot in FC Goa. Bryson was, there wasn't his game, right? And that's a problem that we have, I would say. And therefore for me, wrong match not to perform for him, right? Therefore, that's the challenge for Bryson. Has to be better, has to be more involved, and that's the challenge that we'll have, right? So therefore, for him, not easy, not will be difficult for him, but let's see what he can do maybe in the return leg next week. Towards the weekend, right? What do you think, AIFF new constitution draft after establishing of new constitution? We can see positive things. Yeah, Shach, my problem with the AIFF constitution is that it's modeled on something which has not been cleared in any way by IOC or FIFA. And the question with the constitution is, does it bring in the necessary changes for us to be able to run Indian football in a better way? Or Indian sports, not even football, in a better way. So therefore, that's something, what's happening. So yeah, let's see if, again, for me, we need a new constitution. We need a new AIFF, but a new AIFF to me means also new faces, right? We've tried a lot. A lot of these people have tried their luck. They've not done too well, in my opinion. And therefore, that's the challenge that we have. That will new faces be willing to come in, willing to come forward, to try and change things? Because at the moment, we are in a very, very dark place. We're not there where we want to be, where we need to be. And that's the challenge. So for me, so this is. Let's see. I'm not sure if that would be the answer. Aman says the main thing, what I think Manolo done wrong was Bangladesh, the lack of attacking mindset. You have to substitute or add attacking players more. Bangladesh is lower in group. You have to put pressure. Yeah, Aman, sounds logical. But if you as a group are not playing well, and that has to be said of this team in the game against Bangladesh last week, sometimes you have to live with a draw. And I'll be honest, I expected more, especially after that. As I said, I've said earlier in the lives, watch those, but I thought, against the Maldives, I think we cut a corner. A lot of positives. But we also should not forget, when we were a little earlier, we were talking about, we were so great and all that stuff under Mr. Stevenage. We didn't beat Bangladesh, actually, the senior team at least, in any match, right? And even before that, under Steven and under earlier coaches, we've drawn Bangladesh quite a number of times over the last decade plus. So therefore, those are realities, those are where we stand, and therefore that makes it quite difficult for us, I think, to come out and say, we were this good, we were that good, we were this, we were that. It wasn't showing, and that's, to me, a concern, that we haven't gotten really to the level that we want to, that we need to get, and the options of the other attacking players coming and making a change I didn't see much change with players coming on, right? And therefore, if you've got a team in a certain formation, if you've got a team in a certain format, that's it. Let's see. I think as an Indian, we should never focus more on coaches. See team win by players. Coaching managers are not that into teams in Europe. If we can have world-class players, then we can have the World Cup team. Satyam, in an Indian context, the coach and the way he prepares his team and gets the best out of his team is a very, very important factor. I think we cannot undermine that fact. And because for us, very important is that we should remember that we need to find those individuals who can take us forward. That's the challenge. It's not an easy one. We need to find those players who can withstand international football, be it physically, be it mentally. And as I always like to say, a coach has to get a little bit more, because we're not the best at the moment, but the coach has to get a little bit more out of these players. That's for me the challenge. And some coaches can do that. Some coaches will achieve that. Manolo still has to prove that he can do that, right? And I think Manolo is also learning the hard way when you see his reactions post-match, that he realized that coaching a national team is much, much harder than coaching a club side, right? For him, that was, I think, biggest reality check for him was this, because at the end of the day, it is very, very difficult, because a club can always try and buy players and try to strengthen here, try to strengthen there. You can't do that in a club side, huh? You know? So therefore, yeah, let's see what we can do. Thoughts on Edmund? AIFF, yeah, I-League striker, right? If you want to make him a striker, for me, he's more of an attacking player who's playing in a striking position. Would like to see more of him. Had his influence for Interkashi, so let's see. Do you think after that draw we have enough chance of qualifying? Ruturaj, the good thing about the result was, first, we didn't lose. Let's be honest, Bangladesh was better than us. And second is the other game between Singapore and Hong Kong and also ended goalless. So it means after match day one, all the teams are on 1 point. Nothing won, nothing lost. So therefore, 5 matches to go. We need to start winning in this group, right? And therefore, that's the challenge that India now faces itself in. Let's hope we can do that. Dr. Holder Busk, MD, DFB, and Dietmar Beiersdorfer, CEO of FC Ingolstadt, are in India and have given an interview to DD Sports. What's the purpose of visit? Naveen, they're not now. They were in India a few days ago. I don't even know when they were in India, and they've been going around. They've been talking about things. I don't know what the real purpose is. Ronaldo doesn't get trained by Zidane before Clasico in 2015-16. Just keep him and whole team. Molosses in India. We should also focus more on youngsters. And sorry, Chetri is now gone. And Satyam, you are comparing some of the best players in the world, and on the other side, focus on the youngsters is nice, but the focus on the youngsters should not happen in the national team. For me, very, very clearly, we are in a situation where we need Sunil. If you accept it, I'll accept it, but I will be very, very clear, we need to accept it. Time to get Constantine back. He's the only one. Said PC, game attack. Okay. Satyam says David, Edmund, Guru, Irfan, and midfielders like Sahal, Nico, etc. More hundreds of guys who are not here is the last hope. We got good news. And this is a list. This is a nice list. Where most of the players I don't even rate at the moment. Roshan says, I agree, Ronaldo Manolo got his reality with the national team, but better reality check now than later with an elimination. Yeah. That's the problem, Roshan. That understanding needs to be there. And I say there are 2 things. He's learned his lesson. And 2, we didn't lose. Again, this is against a better team, we would have lost. So that's the positive, right? Hamza Chaudhary also gave us a reality check. I'm very, very positively surprised how many people are suddenly speaking about OCIs, something which I've been speaking for decades. And suddenly people who were against OCIs are also suddenly for OCIs. So nice to see all of these people wake up to reality. And again, Indian football is not about reality. It's not about accountability. It's about living in La La Land. And most of the Indian football fans, most of the people who are working in football live in La La Land, right? And that is something, sorry. That's something that I say, you know. Therefore, for me, yeah, these are things. And Manolo again is learning it the hard way. I think he learned certain things today also the hard way. And let's see what happens. Who will score goals for India? Zorawar, it doesn't matter who it is. It can be anyone, right? We saw, for example, against the Maldives, an interesting tactics with the crosses. Uh, 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 you know, so therefore, for me, it does. Again, it's going to be all about Sunil. Yes, but Sunil has a certain influence. Important. Sunil hopefully can score, but it's also on the wingers, on the midfielders, even on defenders. Rahul Baker can score goals, as we see. Sandesh can score goals. So it is not dependent on one person to score us goals. I'm blaming Chetri in my mind for not converting that clear-cut chance through header, but what about other team player that only 2-3 chances apart from this? That is reality of Indian football. Aman, you can blame Sunil as much as you want to, but for me, it wasn't that a clear-cut chance. Yes, it was an opportunity, but yeah, how many clear-cut chances do strikers score all the time, right? That's the problem. It's a hard fact to digest, but if we don't give youngsters chance in friendlies match, then how we develop them? Sun Chetri got chance once, then he became big, and yes, in friendlies, not in bad matches. Satyam, the point is with the friendlies, I agree with you, but my problem at the moment is that this window was about trying to fix the team that would take on Bangladesh. So therefore, Manolo, in my opinion, rightly decided to play the best team against the Maldives. And therefore, for me, yeah, it's a question of how he does it. So he will have to give youngsters a chance. But for me, the national team is not a chance and opportunity. And the national team needs to be tried and tested because that is the top level of our football. And that's the problem. Bob Houghton was very straightforward, not a yes guy. Enjoyed his stint where we won the AFC Challenge Cup. Sadly, we were out alongside Australia, World Generation South Korean strong side, and the Bagan strong side that almost played 2010 World Cup. Yeah, very, very true. Bob was very, very clear on his plans, on his ideas, on his approach, what he wanted to do, what he didn't want to do, how he wanted to do it. And yeah, as you say, I think India was happy to be at all at the 2011 Asian Cup. That's the first thing one has to honestly say. And we were playing at that level for the first time since 1984. That's also a reality of things. So, Mukul asks, sir, according to you, what is the most realistic way to get OCI? It has to be an interest from the government, from the political class to make changes, amendments to the Citizenship Act to allow players of origin to play for us. I think that's the most important thing. That's the biggest challenge we have in Indian football, that if the government is willing to take the necessary steps, small and big, to allow players of Indian origin to represent us. Very, very difficult one. I know it's a very, very difficult call, but the government needs to make those calls and find solutions to these problems. 2019 Asian Cup gave me hope. Para and loss was heartbreaking. Ishan, I was there. And the first match made me proud. For me, the second match against UAE was even more. The first half an hour was exceptional because UAE is a better team than Thailand. We're playing in Abu Dhabi. And interestingly, 40 plus thousand, and I would have said 30,000 were Indians in the stadium. So therefore, for me, that was great. But in the Bahrain game, we were, for the first time in that tournament, we could lose something. And I felt it before the game that, you know what, we are scared that we could lose something in that game. Starting with Stephen and the team, we were scared of losing something. And therefore, then the heartbreak happened, right? That's football. One Hamza has caused people asking for OCS what will happen when India will lose in South and the Sullivan brothers to Bangladesh. So, well, let's wait and see. I think we need those moments, sadly as it is, but those are going to be multipliers in making things maybe happen for us, because then suddenly people wake up. Because at the moment, we're not waking up to those realities. We need to wake up to those realities and push for those things. Otherwise, nothing will happen, right? And the more people push, let's see. I think we missed a lot of chances match against Bangladesh. So new Chethi Lister match all missed scoring shots. We can do 3-1 with Bangladesh. So we are just getting over more on our team. Satyam, no. Where do you get a 3-1? Come on. Bangladesh at least a 3-4 clear-cut chances. I don't see us having three clear-cut chances in that match. And now can you bring someone from Nopang League who's involved in that project? Please do one podcast. Kumar, I will try and see who I can get. OCI is a scapegoat for all bad results in the poor grassroots we have. We should take actions to have better technical players coming up. Our issue is not strike alone. We do not have technicality. Nadeem, agree with it. But the OCI thing is not something that we should, is an added topic for me, right? So therefore, you're right. Grassroots, very poor. Youth football, very poor. So let's see. Give the players who can produce goals or nothing. Our players are fit and can defend only. We cannot even defend nowadays. We're not even fit. At international level, we're not fit enough. If India also defeat whoever who's playing 2009 World Cup qualifier and defeat big teams. India match against India, they have the main players, so this is good. We beat them 1-0, and that's a different situation as such. So yeah. Anyway. So I'm confused that if we host 2036 Olympics, we need to now appear on OCI, but I search on Google and ChatGPT, they said that is not compulsory now. The OCI player, you said it is compulsory. Sachin, it is part of the rule. I don't know if Google and ChatGPT we have that. Look at the IOC charter, and it says that very, very clearly. SAF draw is happening on the 4th. It is happening sometime in this week, right? Yeah, it's 4th most probably. We could have qualified in 2009, but all other results in our favor. 0 lost points with Thailand and Bahrain lost to Thailand. 1 favor result, we would have qualified. Yeah, but it wasn't, right? So therefore, sad as it is, that's the reality. When I see teams like Middle East and European teams and some of the African nations, I can say all the teams look like African national teams with black migration players. So whole world do this. Okay, and that's a different thing than what we are doing. We're not migrating, we're remigrating, right? Good night, Kumar. Catch you soon. See, the problem is the more teams are going to invest into players of origin, use players of origin, settle down. Look at, to me, I think Sri Lanka is a very good example at the level of footballers that are able to get in and draw into the team. That we need to recognize and realize, where are we, how good are we, where do we stand. So therefore, let's wait and see. Let's see what happens. I hope things, as I say, change, but it's a big challenge. So let's wait and see what happens. Right. Once more reminder: if you're liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing, if you haven't, do leave a like behind. 12 likes only today, much less than the last few days. And share it with other people to join as well, to join in our conversations. And if you haven't, and a part of the conversation, listening at least, do subscribe to the channel, 2476. And if you haven't, then also do look through the short videos that I try and make on a daily basis. Continued my ISL 11 team review with Odisha FC earlier today, did something yesterday. asking the question, Indian football faces existential issues or crisis, I should have actually said as well. All the scandal around the Churchill brothers Inter-Kashi match, previous of Blasters, other teams, PIOs, a lot of videos to look at. Yeah, we're already at 795 videos overall in this, so do look at them. And as always, thank you everybody who's watching for your support. I think according to a chance of qualifying India's in fourth of group, it showed that the inclusion of PAI, OCI in Bangladesh take them to Asian Cup. What happened with Hong Kong, Singapore? I mean, Hong Kong and Singapore have been integrating players of origin or giving national citizenships to foreign-born nationals. I don't know if we're fourth. This group is wide open. You know, therefore for me, I don't know. Let's see. Hi Chitaranjan. No, I am no longer in Mumbai. I returned yesterday from Mumbai to Germany. Suggestion for Jamshedpur to see how players can beat or draw against Mohun Super Giant. Mohun Super Giant has two quality players. I'm on very simple. Play your game. Jamshedpur play a very controlled game. At home, they played a 2-2 in the season where 2 goes down and still got a 2-2. So from that perspective, I think Jamshedpur know what to do, what they have to do to try and hold a Mohun Bagan Super Giant. It depends a lot on Steven Eze and on Javi Hernandez. I think those two players are the key. So therefore, those are key players. Both the players who scored against Northeast United the other night on Sunday night. Advantage, as I said, I saw with BFC today that they played. Well, BFC, FC Goa and Mohun Bagan have had a break, so that's an advantage, I think, also for Jamshedpur FC. Home match, sold out stadium. Let's see what happens. I-League had an origin player quota. I hope we have a 4+1 origin SAF. This will bring PIO to IS and also top SAF players and extend product in SAF countries. Nadeem, that rule was there many years back, nearly 2 decades back in the I-League. Yes, it is right. But that PIO rule which you had in the I-League didn't really work, and therefore it was pulled out. And I don't want the PIOs, OCIs to come to the ISL. I want them to play wherever they are in the world, try and improve themselves wherever they are in the world. That's more important than coming back to the ISL. Standard-wise, I feel, and that I think is one of those challenges. And SAF quota, yeah, sounds nice, but not to my liking, to be very honest. Indian players usually do well against Southeast Asian teams, even in AFC Cup. Earlier, we used to beat Singapore and Hong Kong clubs, Thailand and Asia. True, Nadeem. Let's see. Let's hope that it works and continues to work also in the AFC Asian Cup 2027 qualifiers. Welcome, Aman. Good night to you and everybody else as well. You're welcome for this live on this Wednesday evening, just past 11 o'clock in India, and on a night that Bengaluru FC scored a 2-0 win against FC Goa to take a 2-0 lead into the second leg in Goa, and that does mean something, I think, in this tie, because 2-0 is always, to me, is a good result. Sunday, the second leg, where FC Goa then host Bengaluru FC, and tomorrow, of course, is the first leg of the second semi-final between Jamshedpur FC against Mohun Bagan Super Giant, and supposedly sold out venue at the JRD Tata Sports Complex in Jamshedpur. So let's wait and see. And then, of course, as I said, Sunday FC Goa against BFC, the return leg, and then on Monday, Mohun Bagan Super Giant host Jamshedpur FC. And the winner of these two ties will face each other in the final on Saturday, the 12th of April. So it will be interesting to see which of these 4 teams will play in the final on the 12th. How was your flight? Yeah, very good. Thanks for asking. Great service. Air India, thanks a lot for that. I know a lot of criticism of Air India, but I enjoyed my flights with Air India in the last few weeks. So therefore, thanks a lot for the service. that you provided. Right. Any more queries, questions, guys, if you have them? Otherwise, maybe we'll slowly come to an end of this live. Let's see if you have anything more to throw at me. 1 hour, 20 minutes through. I-League, let's see when will be the kickoff on Sunday. Yeah, interesting, crazy scenario. And very interesting to see who gets through that, because it's an interesting scenario, as I say, in the I-League. Let me know who you guys think will make it again this time around, with Inter Kashi hosting Rajasthan United in their match. Gokulam Kerala face Dempo Sports Club, and of course the other big one, Real Kashmir FC versus Kirtu Brothers. So in theory, 3, maybe 4 teams in the running at the moment. The table: Churchill Brothers 39, Gokulam Kerala 37, Real Kashmir 36, and Inter Kashi 36. Inter Kashi, of course, I think trying to get their 3 points back against Namdar FC. So if that happens, they move to 39. Gokulam Kerala coming out of nowhere. I think even I didn't have them in my championship run list in the last 2 days. So therefore, that will be interesting to see. And with the AIFF, yeah, Delhi High Court getting more involved. No problem, EF, and for the African Flat, hope your channel grows well. Thank you, EF. Thanks. As I said, everybody, I will need your help. I will need your support to grow this community, this channel. Let's have continued honest discussions on Indian football. I know sometimes it's tough, sometimes it's hard, but I still try and do that with you guys. So therefore, thanks as always for your support. And yeah, let's hope we can take Indian football to greater heights. With that slowly coming to an end, as I said, BFC win 2-0 against FC Goa. Tomorrow, Jamshedpur FC against Mohun Bagan Supergiant in the second semi-final, first leg. And yeah, let's see what happens. Wilson says, after the day of effort to make a new league, will have to be reinstating I-League as the top tier if the David Ryan's doesn't go through. Maybe it possible with these individuals, or may I be wrong? Wilson, I have no idea. Honestly, if you see how the AIFF is conducting leagues, organizing itself, influence from the courts as well, do you think that the AIFF is in a position to organize a 16-team league, and they're thinking that with those 64 crores they can run that? The running costs are much higher. You won't get the money from Reliance. I honestly don't know how they're going to do it. So therefore, very interested to see how it does. And I at the moment I don't have trust in the system, to be very honest. And therefore, that's I think the biggest challenge we have. And therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Right. And that was the last question. Then I'll end it here for today. Thanks a lot again, everybody, for joining. As always, like, share, and subscribe. arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com. And I'll be back tomorrow, post the Jamshedpur FC Mohun Bagan Super Giant game. And let's try and keep the mood up. I think it's very, very difficult, very crazy what's all happening. But let's keep our spirits high and wish and hope for the best. Urgence is truly we're in shambles as Indian football fans. Yeah, very difficult times. But again, we all need to keep it together. And I'll catch you very, very soon. Now, signing off. Good night, everyone.